Okay, hello, and welcome to the Visionary Leaders Collective Podcast. I'm Dr. Josie Schmidt, naturopathic physician, and I'm thrilled to be a host here. I am one of the Visionary Leader founders, and I would like, um, sorry, wasn't prepared here for a second. I'm one of the founders here, and please join us for this call every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time for our enlivening conversations that delve deep into wellness. Oh, we do not have it muted with everybody. Are we muted now? Okay, now we're muted. All right, so we've had a beginning. I'm Dr. Josie. You're here on the Visionary Leaders podcast, and please join us every Monday for these conversations of transformative power with doTERRA essential oils. In case you've missed any episodes, you can catch us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and please don't forget to subscribe to our newsletters, our text reminders, and please leave us a review. That really helps us out. You can always visit us on our website at hellovisionary.life as well. So today we are very excited to have our A to Z Oils podcast. And we have our very own Ariana Harley here with us with our other esteemed healthcare practitioners, Dr. Louise Rose, ND, Dr. Mika Carew, ND, LAC, and Will Wan, LAC. Together, they will guide us through an insightful exploration of Yarrow Pom, the oil of energetic safety, and we will be covering its physical, emotional, and energetic and all applications today. And I, Dr. Josie, might even be adding in as a little special guest as well. So let us begin. And Ariana, over to you.
Thank you, Josie. I'm so delighted that you're going to be contributing. I always am so grateful for the combined community wisdom from these plants and from one another. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just fall in love with these oils all over again. I have always, knowing some about herbalism, been a huge fan of yarrow. It is such a staple in the herbalist world and well known. And when I was revisiting Yarrow Pom and making this presentation, I was like, oh, I need to be using this every day. And so hopefully you might find the shared wisdom as we present. So as we mentioned, Yarrow Pom is known as the oil of energetic safety. And just for clarity, Yarrow Pom is a combination. It's a combination of yarrow and pomegranate. And I also wanted to just highlight that there are these new Yarrow Pom eye gels. We'll be talking about them a little more as the call progresses. But if you're listening to this live, we are in May 2024. And so this great Yarrow Pom eye gels is a gift idea for Mother's Day if you need a gift for your mama. And we have some other great promos happening this month. Terra Shield is our free product of the month, and that is a phenomenal bug repellent that's all natural, free of any chemicals. And then if you place a 200 point product volume order, you will receive a some sun care, our sun care line. And it is very rainy and cold in Portland right now, but I have heard tales. The sun is coming. We are in this part of the world embarking in some warmer weather. And there is also a great Father's Day promo with a new oil and diffuser. So let's just dive in. I started off by wanting to just give some respect and acknowledgement to each of these oils individually. So yarrow has been used in many, many cultures around the world for so many years. It has many different uses and traditions, and in the Victorian language of flowers, yarrow can represent both war and healing. This herb has been used in magical traditions for contacting or seeking out a specific person, in divination and love spells. An ancient Asian saying states that wherever yarrow grows, one need not fear wild beasts or poisonous plants. And the I Ching even uses yarrow stalks in ritual. So those are just some of the traditional uses. And then pomegranate oil is just got a really different makeup. You will hear more, but our body receives that more as a food. And look at, if you're watching this gorgeous photo of pomegranate, it is just also steeped in so much mythology and traditional uses. You're probably familiar with it. It is high in vitamins, minerals, omega fatty acids, antioxidants, and vitamin C and K. And it also, as I mentioned, is a food source. So it contains protein, fiber, and folate. And I am going to take us out of this presentation for a minute. So just kind of bear with me. I wanted to share a video with you all. I know it's a little clunky, but I want to share this video from doTERRA because it's a really great one. So let's take a listen to that, and then we'll hear more from our doctors.
So this is Yarrow Pom. So it's yarrow and pomegranate seed oil.
This is not just yarrow essential oil.
We don't see the video.
Yarrow Pom.
Oh, no.
And that means that there's two different things. Now,
Let
this
me
is the
pause
key
it.
point and what's
we'll
so
start
important
over.
about
Apologies. Thanks for letting me know. Oh my goodness. I had so many windows open, I was having a hard time finding you guys. Okay, let's try this again. You see that now? Let me get the right window up. Can you see that video?
Yep, we got it
Okay.
now. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. I'll start it over, and thanks for your patience.
So this is Yarrow Pom. So it's yarrow and pomegranate seed oil.
this is not just yarrow essential oil. It's yarrow Pom. And that means that there's two different things. Now, this is the key point and what's so important about that. We took non-volatiles in the case of palm seed oil, pomegranate seed oil, and we combined it with the volatiles that we see in an essential oil. What's unique about that, it allows us to have similar benefits between the two of them, but they work through completely different pathways. In combination, those two things together create for you what I'm going to call metabolic support.
Now, yarrow is the deepest color of blue. And that's because of the chemazoline, and it's a very low percentage even in this essential oil. Chemazoline is an amazing antioxidant, has a greater antioxidant capacity than vitamin C and E.
It is especially important for helping to protect some of the more sensitive tissues within the body, like the brain, like the central nervous system. It also is really good for helping tissues to become more normalized. So, for example, if we have heavy, strenuous activity and we've stressed the muscular tissues of our body, it helps them to redevelop. It helps them to become stronger. It helps them to become more resilient. These are all important characteristics that we see on the acute side. But there's a chronic side to this pathway, and that's what we all get concerned about. And this is one of the reasons I got excited about this essential oil.
It also has amazing anti-aging benefits. It's convenient so that you can put it in a capsule or drop it under your tongue or use it for the skin.
One of the reasons why I'm excited about this combination of yarrow and pomegranate seed oil together. It's supportive of normal blood pressure regulation within the body. It helps to maintain these normalized cholesterol levels. When the body's able to achieve that, it's important that we can maintain that, and it supports the body in its ability to do that. And then health of the heart tissue itself. All tissues within the body need antioxidant protection. They need resiliency. And this is a product that can help them achieve that more fully.
All right, and let me just get back to our presentation. And so Dr. Josie is going to expand. Hopefully you got inspired by what you heard. It was like a little teaser of how wonderful Yarrow Pom is. And Josie, go ahead and expand on why would we want to use Yarrow Pom and how. Oh, and just remember to unmute.
Okay, there I
There you
am. Thank you, Ariana. That was a great video. So inspiring. And I love hearing Dr. Hill and Emily Wright speaking about it, because when they released this oil for a few of us in the higher echelons, they gave some back end talks they used to about when they released the new products, and some of the things we couldn't necessarily make statements about online or in writing, for all of those rule reasons, but they wanted us to know the kind of the healing benefits. And so I wanted to share some of that with you. And I think just in putting some emphasis, because you hear, like you heard Dr. Hill speaking about helping with cholesterol, we must say within the normal healthy limits, but in general, helping with cholesterol. And that's something so many, especially in America, in how we live our lives, is important as we age. And overall metabolic function. So it's that kind of intersection between blood sugar support, cholesterol, and our lipid level support, and then our cardiovascular support. So you see their blood renewal, circulatory stimulant, inflammation modulating, hormone balancing. You kind of see it in all this combination in all of these areas. And again, remember what we're talking about is Yarrow essential oil together with pomegranate seed oil. And what Dr. Hill and Emily Wright, they came out saying, this oil is in the same sort of playground. Think of it with the turmeric, pink pepper, and copaiba. These are all ones that overlap greatly. And you think of things like anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and anti-cancer. When you talk about the Yarrow essential oil, two of the big constituents, they mentioned one in them are the beta carotene and the chamazoline and beta pinene, or those are three. And the chamazoline is what makes it blue. It's what makes deep blue blue. It's what makes blue tansy blue. And this blue only comes out from this family of herbs in the distillation process. It's why you do not see it in the herbal forms of those medicines. And if you were to compare, say, blue tansy is the highest. It's about 15% chamazoline, whereas Yarrow is about 5.5 to 6% chamazoline. That's still a lot compared to everything else. In studies, chamazoline was and beta carotene, or no, sorry, chamazoline performed better in studies than pharmaceutical COX-2 inhibitors, right? Ibuprofen in studies performed better. It is that powerful in terms of helping with pain and inflammation. And that COX-2 is the pain pathway. It's the main pain pathway we look to work with when someone is in pain. So the beta pinene is a huge antibacterial. It's huge fight against cancer all the time in our bodies, antioxidant, but it's also a big one with fight or flight, antidepressant. And we think of this oil with PTSD. So I'm going to go through a little more specifically the notes and just bring out some highlights. You really want to think of its wonderful. A lot of times I think of what do I like to pair this with, and Yarrow Pom and Copaiba have a lot of similarities. If you don't have one, you could use the other. They are both high in beta carotene, and that beta carotene is that huge antioxidant that is working with things like anti-cancer. And so I like to use them together, but know that they can sometimes, alternate. Let's see. So remember we talked about the whole metabolism aspect. So when you think of this, yarrow and pomegranate seed oil together, the global picture, you think about it helping to support and or stimulate in a positive way all hormones. Thinking it for things like perimenopause, menopause, all hormone issues, PMS. It is great for tonifying the blood pressure. It is considered a great blood purifier and purger. We think of it for that tonifying blood pressure. You think of it for issues like hypertension, any issues with the blood like thrombosis. Here's let me come back to that for a second. So these are not in order necessarily, so I will jump around. I apologize in one sense. One thing you want to think of remember I talked about that beta carotene that's really high in Copaiba and it's high in Yarrow. You want to think of beta carotene, you should think of for antiviral and any herpes simplex issue. So if you want to make up for the lips, a blend for someone, you want to do it in this Yarrow Pom base with Copaiba, and I would add a little bit of Melissa if you have it. If you don't have it, just the Yarrow Pom and the Copaiba will be amazing. And that pomegranate seed oil is going to greatly soothe and be really nice on the lips, as is Copaiba. So you're adding that in your idea of like when you're working with anything viral, antiviral, you want to think Yarrow Pom, Copaiba, huh? And also Melissa, if you have it.
And Josie, I'm just going to interrupt you for a moment to clarify. If you were to make that up, you are speaking, as I'm understanding it, to add it topically to the lips and mouth.
Yes.
And then would you add that to the Yarrow Pom body serum, or would you add it to the Yarrow Pom, just the Yarrow Pom?
I would, for myself, it depends, the Yarrow Pom, the one we're talking about is quite blue. So you're going to be, if you're doing that, we can ask maybe later, see if Will or Mika if this is spurring any ideas for them, blends in terms of amounts of the Yarrow Pom versus Copaiba, and just, I would add a little bit of Melissa. It's going to be pretty blue. So maybe you do the body. It's going to be stronger if you use this direct Yarrow Pom. But if you don't want as blue lips, then maybe you would use the body.
Great, thanks. I just wanted to clarify for people listening. They wanted to make that up.
So the two main agents, the constituents that we know of in the pomegranate seed oil are this thing called CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. It's one of the omega fatty acids in it, and then punic acid. And these are really wonderful anti-aging antioxidants. They have been shown they work with the keratinites, the keratin cells in our skin, and can reverse damage of these cells, and also can help increase collagen production. We see the actions of both the yarrow and the pomegranate seed oil, again, as Dr. Hill spoke about, being synergistic and bringing that whole idea of metabolic with cholesterol, blood pressure, hormones coming together, blood purging, to help with weight loss. This is one of the things people see with using the yarrow pom, mostly internally. So let's see, are there the other thing I want to bring home again is that idea of with that beta carotene, like copaiba for PTSD and trauma, we think of yarrow and yarrow pom, and we also think energetically yarrow because of the family, the herbal family that it is in, same family as arnica. But for your skin, I'm talking about these more medicinal ways, internal, and then it absorbing in through your skin and working in your bloodstream. But it is the pomegranate seed oil has so much, but with it, with that punic acid and the conjugated linoleic acid. One thing I'd like to throw it is there is also a yarrow pom capsule that they released, and that is incredible for the skin and for anti-aging and collagen production. But one of the things a little real pearls they gave out is this is a difficult autoimmune issue that people deal with is psoriasis. And they highly recommended the the yarrow pom capsules as part of a full protocol for psoriasis together with the LLV and Terrazyme, and found it to be really helpful and effective. Let's see. So we talked about it working that COX-2 pathway with the chemazoline. The beta pinines are working the MAO. Sorry, I always do that backwards. The MOA neurotransmitter pathway. So that's what we're talking about: serotonin, dopamine, norepi, epihistamine, all the things to do with stress and mood. The beta pinene is helping to support and balance those pathways. The beta carotene, besides the COX-2, is working the CB2 receptor. So that's all the things that we know that we get from CBD oil and copaiba oil. And let's see, anything else I want to highlight here? For people who want to know a little more specifically with that yarrow, besides the CB2 activation, it is also activating a pathway called HMG-CR, which is the specific gene pathway for normalizing cholesterol. So there's some really good science here. They're not just throwing that out. The punic acid in the pomegranate seed oil is activating the PPARY gene and pathway, and this has to do with tissue disruption. So when you're talking about all of the regeneration activity and work and some of the other work with cholesterol and cholesterol support and metabolic support. So what comes down, and then, there's one other thing, was where we saw that this punic acid and the conjugated linoleic acid in the pomegranate seed oil, one of the things it's doing with helping to support our metabolism is it's helping to balance some really important hormones, and those have to do with our weight, and some of them are called adiponectin resistant and TNF, tumor necrosis factor, and basically it is it helps normalize those, and they've done studies where they see they're in inverse relationship with obesity, and the normalization pattern is the opposite that you want, and that is actually the normalization pattern that you're seeing with the effects of within this pomegranate seed oil. So that was some of the background behind some of what we're saying. And I like to bring that in sometimes because you never know who's listening and they want to know a little bit more about why things are doing what we say they're doing. So I'll Dr. Rose, do you have more to kind of encapsulate about that physical side of our Yarrow Pom?
Gosh, Josie, thank you so much for all that deep information and really like the research and the clinical stuff. That's one of the reasons that I love our team and I love doTERRA because they're actually doing this research. I know there's a lot of more gems to share, so I just kind of wanted to hit some high points and maybe kind of bring things together a little bit. In an herbal medicine realm, like we really think of yarrow as like this blood cleanser, like Josie was talking about. And its action is both stimulating, like it's this is one of the reasons it tonifies our blood vessels. It stimulates and circulates, but it's also very soft and nutritive and restorative as well. I would say some themes to just keep in your mind as you're thinking about Yarrow Pom is strength and power, soft and tender, the wounded soldier and the wounded healer. These are some themes that Yarrow goes really deeply. One action that Josie didn't get into too much is its action on the liver, kidney, bladder. So stimulating better elimination of toxins and really just helping our body sort and take in what we need and let go what we don't need. And I'm guessing that we might find that theme echoed on an emotional level and on another level too. So with that, I'll just hand it over and then I'll pop in and add things if as I see the need.
Thank you both. Yeah, thank you both. So that was a great segue, which is that yes, you hear about the physical attributes of these plants, and then you hear the energetic and emotional uses, and you can see the big picture, right? So I say this often during our calls. We break our calls up into the mind, body, and spirit, knowing that there's really no separation, but just as a point of speaking. So on the emotional levels, you have really already been painted a picture of how you would want to use Yarrow Pom. And we touched on yarrow historically has been used and related to war and to soldiers. And when you hear all the science of what it's doing in our body, helping with that tissue repair, helping with the muscles, helping with the antioxidants, helping with the wounds, you can really see why. When I thought of yarrow last night, I really imagined, I saw this photo of hands protecting a new sprout of a seed. And that's how yarrow feels to me, like a papa bear, I got your back, I'm protecting you, I'm holding you. And you can really see how that comes through on the physical level. I see I have a little typo. So on the if you're reading this with me, it should say calming to the body and mind. So yarrow, when I was reading about it, it is soothing to the nervous system, creates feelings of emotional and energetic safety. Really, really wonderful to bring in when you are working on recovering from any time of crisis and trauma. So we could think maybe it's a car accident, maybe it's the death of a dear loved one, maybe maybe you fell, or there is just something hard happening in the body and the spirit. Bring in Yarrow Pom. And I want to encourage you and myself too. I haven't been diffusing Yarrow Pom but the aroma of Yarrow Pom is phenomenal, like all of our essential oils, for the mind, the mood, and the emotions. So be sure to smell it and breathe in that aroma. Yarrow Pom helps individuals feel protected, strengthened, and rejuvenated. And it's uplifting. And I will just read this little section. Emotionally and energetically, Yarrow essential oil helps heal and uplift. The essential oil can help heal emotional trauma and is often used to help positively release repressed anger and deal with rage productively. Blue yarrow oil is a beautiful essential oil to add to formulations intended to support confidence, stability, and encourage a peaceful outlook. And so I also wanted to speak to when this oil first came out, I started using it and I experienced that. We had a group of us, we were all using it, and I was personally and collectively witnessing some emotional releases. So I would like to take a moment to reframe that. Anger is not an easy emotion to feel, and most people, in particular people who identify as women, often struggle with anger and a healthy expression of it. So I just want to say sometimes when we are healing, we need to feel, from a psychology point of view, to heal. If we repress our emotions, if we repress anger, it can turn into disease. And so if you have that, not saying you will for sure, but if that happens, if you start using Yarrow Pom and you feel like, wow, I have some anger being released, just a little heads up, that's a good thing. It's allowing the body to heal it, to feel it, and to move it. And so that is going to be our ally. And then I'm going to hand the mic over to Mika, and she is going to talk about the energetic and spiritual uses of Yarrow Pom. And she shared with me last night, she'll speak more about it, but merciful wound healer. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? I love that poetry of that.
Mika,
Did you want to say something, Louise?
can you tell? Thank you. I just wanted to share it because it's right along the same lines, and I think will support Mika's presentation a little bit from a teacher of mine. A-Z Popham is an herbalist with evolutionary herbalism. And A-Z writes, so yarrow is called Achillea millefolium. So Achillea relates to Achilles, who represents the archetype of the wounded warrior. Achilles was a warrior of supreme strength, half mortal, half god, who was invulnerable to injury by being blessed in the river Styx, with the exception of his ankle or his heel, which was held when dipped into the river. He was said to be educated by the centaur Chiron in the medicinal, esoteric, and martial arts. The story of Chiron illustrates the archetypal dynamics that relate to Yarrow. He was immortal, but carried a wound that would never heal. Chiron was shot by one of Hercules' poison-dipped arrows that would have killed any mortal instantly. But it left Chiron, the master of medicinal arts, with an incurable wound of body and soul. In the end, Chiron willingly walked into the realm of Hades, the underworld, and offered up his immortality to relieve his suffering. This all speaks quite closely to the medicinal picture of Yarrow on the level of the psyche, commonly referred to as the wounded warrior or wounded healer remedy. We all carry a wound inside of us, not a mere scrape or scratch, but a wound that penetrates to the core of our being, to our very soul. And it is the healing of this wound, this sacred wound, that constitutes a central thematic element of our soul's growth, evolution, and development. Without attending to our sacred wound, we cannot grow and evolve. It is our weak spot, our Achilles heel.
Thank you, Louise. Yes. So perfect, right? So before I get into the spiritual or energetic, I just wanted to go back. I love that you played that video, Ariana, of Dr. Hill and our beloved, I forgot her name.
Emily, right?
Emily, because after that talk, with all that science, I put two blends together that have been really quite, quote, miraculous for a lot of my patients and for this household that I'm living in with my parents. And one is the hormone blend. And we'll put that up, or maybe it's up. Yes, the hormone blend here. So take a shot of that, picture of that. And I make it up in my 2-ounce bottle like this, and I have it by my bedside. And I have been using it. I use it a lot, but I just incorporated it with using it with the dry skin brushing pattern for more lymph purging and movement. So we can also put up that video, that YouTube video. I just pulled it up. You could just look up YouTube dry skin brushing, how to do it, but I have one that I watched this woman. I liked her. She's a PT and she specializes in lymph drainage. And so I've been using that pattern with my hormone formula, which Ariana put up. The other thing is, which I didn't send you until now, Ariana, is it's so neuroprotective. And so I made up a blend and I give it to my dad every morning, and he has PTSD, and I put it in water, and it's 1 drop of each, and we can post that. It's called Dr. Mika's Brain Toddy, but that's pretty amazing. Also, it's neuroprotective, but also helps with cholesterol, all the things. So my dad's 90 and his blood, since I've been living with him, has blood panel, all his blood markers are within normal limits. He's had a quadruple bypass. He's been exposed to Agent Orange. He was a MIA vet, missing in action dude. So he has a lot going on, but he takes the LOV and he takes the brain toddy. So there you go. Proof is in the pudding.
That's huge. And Mika, apologies for interrupting you. I'm just going to read that for people who aren't looking at the visuals.
Okay.
And we will post it on the Facebook page too. It's Dr. Mika's Brain Toddy, 1 to 3 drops each in a gel cap or under the tongue daily. Frankincense, Siberian fir, copaiba, pink pepper, melissa, turmeric, green mandarin, and yarrow pom.
Yeah, thank you. And it's just 1 drop of each. That's fine. Once a day, but you just have to be consistent with it. Thanks for reading that out loud. So Yarrow Pom, the merciful healer. That's the first thing I got when I was meditating with this beautiful combination. I help soothe frazzled nerves. I help soothe your nervous system. Place a drop if you want to do it now. If you have it, place a drop on the tip of your tongue. The tip of the tongue represents the heart in Chinese medicine. So if you put it on the tip of the tongue of your heart, it will help to soothe your nervous system, help soothe any nervous tension and heart constriction, physical, mental, emotional, and energetic. You know how when something arises, I know for me, my heart can get constricted. That energetic heart, that chakra can get constricted. So you can automatically take the Yarrow Pom, put it on the tongue. Tip of the tongue is best. Yep, all those drops at once, Linda. And she was asking about all the drops of the neurological toddy. Yeah, put it on the tip of the tongue and just breathe and allow your nervous system to re-regulate, move from sympathetic to parasympathetic. It's an emotional soother. So you can feel that right away with the the aroma, if you diffuse it, if you want to rub it on your body, rub it on your, I can't wait to hear what Will has to say, so I'll speed up, but I'll rub it on some points. If he didn't go over the points, I will after we watch it. Soothing, agitated, energetic fields. So soothing the physical body, but around us, we have a beautiful egg around us, energetic egg around us. And if you're feeling physically frazzled, your energy body is frazzled like this. So it's a really good one to soothe your energetic fields as well. So what you can do is, when we do this in my Qigong class, and you're all welcome to come to that Qigong class, put a couple drops in the palm of your hand, rub them together, and then you could just take it. It's like a soothing blanket. I'm putting my hands over my body. It's a soothing, feels like a soothing, warm, cozy blanket washing over my body, coddling me, cozy. Oh yeah, the feeling of I got your back, I got you. Use it in the face, in Dr. Josie's face caviar. And you can use it and look in the mirror, and you could do Ho'oponopono, which is I love you, I'm sorry, and thank you. So you could do Anne Caroline's face yoga. I know this is a lot of information, but so you could do Anne Caroline's face yoga, and at the same time being in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. I'm sorry. And thank you. So that's Ho'oponopono. Or you could just say, I love you. I love you as you're doing the face yoga, or just putting the Yarrow Pom on your face. I did that this morning. I'm going to start incorporating that. Yes, this is a good oil to help smooth and soothe transitions. So any moving, death. I think you said that, Ariana. Yes. So moving, changes, death. I would highly, people usually ask me, somebody's dying, what oil? Yeah, for sure, frankincense. But I am now going to start recommending Yarrow Pom. Okay, you could also use it. So Ariana mentioned about how things can come up or arise with Yarrow Pom, or just in life, right? So there's two things that I use. I use, which I've talked about a lot, feelings buried alive, never die. So you could use this book, and there's a certain saying on page 95 to clear some emotion that you're having, to help move. I think Linda asked, how do I move that if it's stuck? Or I can't remember exactly what she said in the chat, but this is how I do it. If it's just there and it's kind of stalled, and you've already inquired about the emotion, and you need it to move out so it doesn't get stuck in your cells, use some Yarrow Pom, and then you can use feelings buried alive, never die. And you don't even have to know the feeling. There's feelings in alphabetical order. So sometimes I'll be like, I'm so messed up, I don't even know what feeling I'm feeling. I'll just choose one of those and then start saying the statement in here. This is a great book. Obviously, you can tell I use it a lot. There is an app, but it's Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die. For some reason, I like the book. Another thing that I use is, and not as often, but this is a great one if you're not grooving with the feelings buried alive. It's called the Healing Codes. It's, there's tapping, there's all different ways to help move through the emotions. It's not like running away from the emotions. It's actually just helping you to move through the emotions. Okay. So the healing codes is great. There's a saying, and there's hand points that you can do, and the pictures. But anyway, the healing codes is great. So it's just a little different, but the same idea of moving through emotions. Okay. That's it. I want to leave time for Will one.
Thank you, Mika. I would also like to say that if you want to move emotions, I would encourage you to sing, to dance, to imagine the emotion as a color, to draw, to just think of getting it out of the body, like thinking of the inside and the outside. It's like you're inside your house, you walk outside your house. So let it have a voice in some way, right? If nobody's home, scream into a pillow, have a good cry, curse all the swear words at your wall, just move it. And in studies, they said that emotion really only has a duration of 2.5 minutes, and then it shifts. And so see if you notice that. It doesn't have to be a big scary thing, right? I love to turn on really loud music and dance, So those are also ways. Exercise, of course, is great.
Thank you.
And so I'm going to move through the keynote, and then we are going to end with Will, which is not usually, he has a recorded video. He had to work today. And so I'm going to move through this a little quickly because I really know there's some gems that Will has given us too. But I have some images of the different Yarrow Pom products here. And so as we spoke, we have the Yarrow Pom Body Renewal Serum. So this is, of course, great for the body, the face. This would be a lovely way to use that lip serum Dr. Josie was talking about. I also had a Yarrow Pom. I need a good word to differentiate it. It's the Yarrow Pom is just the concentrated Yarrow Pom in a dropper bottle. So that we can take under our tongue. I had a bottle that got a little gooky because I was using it a lot. And so I took the bottle and poured it in with some fractionated coconut oil. And what I'm going to do, and you could do this with the body renewal serum, or you could do it the way I'm doing it. I put it in a bigger bottle, and then I'm going to add Dr. Mika's hormone blend and keep it by my bed. I've been using it under my arms and my chest already, but that will be a great addition. And then for convenience, there's the Yarrow Pom gel caps. And I just really want to say, I hope that you've really marinated in all the phenomenal uses for these. I honestly learned about Yarrow Pom, but the thing that stuck with me is it's really anti-aging. It's great for the skin. And I had these caps I wasn't taking, and I've just added them again to my routine because I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I not taking this? And then I hope you have the Yarrow Pom eye gels coming in the mail. I have mine if you don't order them because they might sell out. They're a limited time offer. And so those are going to be really fun. Maybe you've seen those little pictures of or use some the eye gels. I've seen them a lot online in different products. And then it comes with a little, I think it's I'm not sure on the side. Oh yeah, 5 milliliter dropper bottle of Yarrow Pom. And we are going to get to the traditional Chinese uses. And then I just had some more slides about some information. I'm going to post those on our Facebook page so you can look at those so we can really dive into Will's wisdom. So you've seen all the products. Let's see. So let's stop the share. And you can go ahead and type in the chat any ways that you are excited to use Yarrow Pom. I'm just transitioning here to Will's video. So it'll just take me a moment. And here is Will. Are you guys able to, oh, I pushed the wrong button. Are you able to see Will? No?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to stop the share.
Linda, I'll answer you question. What do you use under your arms? You were, I think you were referring to Ariana. She was
Yeah.
saying that she was using the hormone serum, the Yarrow Pom serum, but now she's gonna put into that bottle the hormone blend, and she'll use that underneath her arms and do the lymph massage. And I just sent Ariana the YouTube of the woman who specializes in lymph massage, and that's how I'm using the hormone blend.
I love that. And thank you, Dr. Mika. And yes, and that is why I'm using it under my arms and my breast area to get all my neck, all the anti-aging and lymph support. And then I just read a great tip that I also wanted to share, which is our mud mask. You can put that under your arms and it will draw out toxins. So that'd be a really great way to use our mud mask, do a little detox, and then finish it up with the Yarrow Pom. But we are getting to the end of our call, so let's transition into our beloved Will, and he's going to share his wisdom.
Hello, visionary leaders. Welcome to another monthly A to Z call. My name is Will Wan. I'm a licensed acupuncturist. And this month we'll be talking about Yarrow Pom, the dynamic duo blend from doTERRA. So today I'll be talking about the Chinese medicine perspective of Yarrow Pom. So let's go ahead and break it down. Yarrow, specifically the name is Xiyang Shicao, which by definition means the Western herb plant that has very much a masculine or male energy about it, that is specifically 60 to 70 years old. So if you think about that, what does that mean? A male that's reached the age of 60 to 70. Well, to put it bluntly, it's recognizing that the sort of male exuberance has left. And it is left with a wiser, a more experienced human being, to recognize that self-compassion is much more of an empowerment, and the so-called ability to feel and understand the sufferings of the world and himself is what brings that strength. So you understand Yarrow in itself is a very powerful plant that is sort of at this place where it still has this obvious yang qi or yang energy, but it's also this connected to this yin qualities, or the divine feminine qualities and the divine masculine qualities. So let's break it down even further. So Yarrow is very much a bitter, a pungent, or very dispersing quality. It affects the spleen, kidney, and lung. So flavor-wise, that bitterness is very much descending energy. It can cool things, clearing heat. And then that pungent obviously can disperse, go to the superficial or the exterior level of the body and clear out any of this kind of excess heat. It's a qi mover and a blood mover. It can also transform dampness. Its obvious historical value has been to stop bleeding. It also tonifies the qi and of course releases the exterior. We regard Yarrow as a sort of, again, as I mentioned, this balancing of the yin and the balancing of the yang. So the yang qi is like this nature that creates this movement, perpetual heavenly connection. And the yin quality is this sort of material, the matter of the body, the flesh of the body. So when you take an herb that can both work in the world of the yin and the world of the yang, then that very much herb has its presence to work with a balancing and harmonizing way. In the historical use of Yarrow, the ancient Chinese, they used Yarrow stalk, the stem and the stalk of the Yarrow for divination, for the I Ching, the book of changes in divination of questions that the emperor or high-ranking officials would use to determine what would be the best result or the outcome of particular actions during a dynasty. And so they would consult the Book of Changes or the use of these yarrow stalks to determine a response from the heavens, from the Tao. So typically 50 yarrow stalks were used. And there's this whole process and ceremony in the ancient ways to utilize yarrow. So if you want to find out more, there's more information in terms of how to utilize yarrow stalk for the divination and the I Ching. So also yarrow can really what we call reconcile or harmonize the opposing forces. When we look at yin and the yang, those are so-called opposing forces, but they're forces that have to be working together or in unification. When one is more dominant, like the yin or the yang are more dominant, that brings things out of harmony. So yarrow is used to sort of rebalance and recounterweight. Whatever is excess will bring down, whatever is deficient will bring back up. So in that way, the sort of macrocosm or the microcosm of the human being come into balance. And in terms of that second component that is in Yarrow Pom, duo blend, the pomegranate seed. The name in Chinese is 石榴子. Different 石, meaning 石 is like a rock or a stone. Liu is like, can be thought of as sort of a expansive energy, but it's also, it's often termed in the form of like explosion or like to really expand outward. And zi is seed. So if you look at pomegranate seeds in the fruit, they look like definitely little rocks, and they're bursting with flavor, right? So very, again, sweet and sour at the same time, kind of explosive in a way in your mouth. They're bitter, slightly bitter. They're very cooling in nature. So by definition of those flavors, they affect the spleen, they affect the lung. It tonifies the qi of the lung and the spleen qi to generate flesh. So when we say in Chinese medicine generating flesh, typically flavor-wise, that is both sweet and sour flavors. You think of what is sweet and what is sour, we think of as generating more flesh, more yin, more material matter for the body. So it's then regarded as a yin tonic in a degree. It clears heat, reduces pain or inflammation. Traditionally, pomegranate was more introduced to China back in around 126 BC. So in terms of the sort of historical use in Chinese herbalism, fairly recent, but it was brought over through the Silk Road trade routes. And so it also has this sort of, again, more practical description for treating sore throats to coughing, diarrhea. It can stimulate uterine contraction during labor. Historically, what we have used in Chinese medicine, again, for pomegranate is more of a sort of, again, this building of the flesh or building of the yin material matter. When somebody is deficient and you want to tonify their physical body, you know, especially after like really long-term illness, pomegranate seed, especially the extract, very concentrated material matter for the pomegranate seed, can again help rebuild, tonify the yin matter that's been depleted after weeks to months of illness. So that's what I have for Yarrow Pom dynamic duo blend from a Chinese medicine perspective. Thank you very much.
That's like seminar, amazing, expert. All of these pearls are out of this world. I don't even know what to say. Like, we are so fortunate.
I love
Like, I just paid $1,700 for a class like that.
yeah.
So we're getting it for free here, people.
It is gems in our pocket for sure, as you all are. Thank you. I know we are at time. I'm going to hand the mic to my sister, who's in a beautiful, if you can't see it, red sweater that reminds me of pomegranates. And we hope to see you next week.
Oh, I'm gonna echo Mika. What a power pack call. So many nuggets. My Yarrow Pom caps literally just arrived, and I just took 2 during the call. I'm excited to start using those again. So thank you all so very, very much. Make sure and tune in next week. Dr. Louise Rose and I will be here, and we are going to talk about allergy season and all the things to do to help alleviate and prevent and support your immune system. And this would be a great call to share with a friend or a family member, because allergies really do impact so many people and can make a lot of people very unhappy. Do make sure and get your Yarrow Pom eye masks, because these things do sell out quickly. So don't delay on that. So have a wonderful day, everybody, and we'll look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.